I ignored my husband's one simple request for Father's Day after he disregarded my Mother's Day wishes. Posted by you/throwra6512. My name is Sarah, and I'm 32 years old. I've been married to Mark, who's 34, for 9 years, and we have 2 children, an 8-year-old and a 6-year-old. Our life is a whirlwind of work, school, chores, and parenting, with both of us juggling full-time jobs. We've always tried to make each other feel special on Mother's Day and Father's Day, but this year, things went wrong. I ignored Mark's request for a quiet Father's Day at home, giving him a day out with the kids instead, just like he did for me on Mother's Day. Now he's ignoring me, rejecting my apologies, and our marriage is crumbling. Did I go too far? And how can I fix this? Mark and I met 10 years ago at a coworker's barbecue. He was charming with a quick laugh, and we bonded over our shared love of hiking and board games. After a year of dating, we got married, dreaming of a family and a cozy home. Our kids came soon after, filling our days with joy and chaos. Our routine became a well-oiled machine. I'm a project manager, Mark's an IT specialist, and we split parenting duties, trading off school pickups and bedtime stories. Our home, a modest 2-story in the suburbs, buzzed with activity, crayon drawings on the fridge, toys scattered in the living room, and endless laundry. Mother's Day and Father's Day were sacred in our house. I'd plan special days for Mark, grilling his favorite steak, gifting him gadgets, or taking the kids out so he could relax. He'd do the same for me, like booking spa days or cooking breakfast. These days were our way of saying thank you amidst the grind of parenthood. But this year, everything changed. For Mother's Day, I told Mark weeks in advance I wanted a day to myself. I was exhausted, craving silence to sleep in, read a book, or soak in a bath. I pictured an empty house, no demands, just peace. Mark nodded, saying, "Got it." I trusted him to make it happen, excited for a rare break. On Mother's Day morning, I woke to the kids bursting into our bedroom, shouting, "Happy Mother's Day." Their giggles were sweet, but I'd hoped for a quiet start. Mark handed me coffee, smiling, and said he had a surprise. I forced a smile, expecting my day alone. Instead, he handed me an envelope with tickets for me and the kids to a children's museum, followed by lunch at a pizza place. He said he'd stay home to handle things while we had fun. My heart sank, but the kids were bouncing with excitement, so I hid my disappointment. We drove to the museum, a noisy maze of exhibits. The kids darted between displays, and I spent hours chasing them, ensuring they didn't wander off or knock over displays. By noon, I was frazzled, my feet aching. At the pizza place, the kids spilled soda and fought over toppings, and I cleaned up messes while coaxing them to eat. Lunch dragged, and I felt more like a referee than a mom on her special day. When we got home, the kids ran to show Mark their museum stickers. He was in his office, gaming online with friends, headphones on. The kitchen was a disaster. Dishes piled in the sink, crumbs on the counter. I cleaned it all, too tired to argue, then collapsed on the couch. Mark didn't ask about my day, and I didn't bring it up. The kids had fun, and that mattered, but I felt unheard. I'd asked for solitude, and he'd given me chaos. Father's Day was a month later. Mark told me he wanted what I'd asked for, a day alone to play video games and order takeout. He said, "I just want to chill in my office, game with the guys, no interruptions." I listened, nodding, but my mind flashed to Mother's Day. His surprise had ignored my needs, leaving me drained. I decided to give him a taste of his own medicine, not out of spite, but to show him how it felt to be disregarded. I bought tickets to a massive arcade an hour away, preloading game cards with tokens for a full day of fun. On Saturday night, I handed Mark the cards at dinner, saying, "You and the kids are going to the arcade tomorrow. It'll be a blast." The kids cheered, but Mark's smile faltered. He asked, "What about staying home?" I said, "This will be better. The kids will love it." He didn't argue, but his expression was tense. The next morning, Mark and the kids left early. I savored the quiet house, making pancakes, taking a long bath, and reading a novel uninterrupted. It was the day I'd craved on Mother's Day, peaceful, restorative, mine. I felt a twinge of guilt but pushed it aside, convinced Mark would see the parallel, and we'd laugh about it later. When they returned, the kids were wired, clutching arcade prizes, stuffed animals, plastic toys, and babbling about skee-ball and claw machines. They hugged me, showing off their loot. Mark, however, was silent. He helped the kids unpack, then retreated to his office without a word. After bedtime, I found him in the kitchen, his jaw tight. I asked, "How was it?" He snapped, "You ignored what I wanted. I told you I wanted to stay home, and you sent me out with the kids." I said, "You did the same to me on Mother's Day. I wanted to be alone, but you sent me to the museum." He shook his head, saying, "It's not the same. You were petty." I argued it was exactly the same. Both of us ignored the other's wishes. He raised his voice, saying I'd ruined his day, then stormed off. I stood there, stunned, feeling both justified and guilty. The next day, Mark started ignoring me. He wouldn't speak, respond to texts, or look at me. I tried apologizing, saying, "I'm sorry, I just wanted you to understand." But he walked away. The house felt heavy, the silence deafening. The kids noticed, asking, "Why is Daddy mad?" I said he was busy with work, but their frowns showed they weren't convinced. I posted on Reddit in r/relationship_advice, explaining the Mother's Day and Father's Day mix-ups, Mark's silent treatment, and my failed apologies. I asked how to fix it. Responses were mixed. Hobolob_wrote, "That's hilarious. Don't apologize. Tell him to talk when he's done being a piss baby." I replied, "I don't feel sorry. I was justified, but I want him to stop ignoring me." Bad Acid said, "Mother's Day needs active effort from the husband, not just planning. He knew what you wanted, but gave you work. It was petty, but I'd be petty too. He needs to own up." I responded, "The kids had fun both days. My issue is he didn't listen, not that I hate my kids." Fat_man_slim noted, "Some responders are teens. No wonder you're getting dumb claims like hating your kids." I replied, "People keep saying I'm selfish for wanting a day alone, as if I don't cook, clean, and parent every day." The comments clarified my feelings. I wasn't wrong to want Mark to understand, but his refusal to talk hurt. I hoped he'd soften, but days passed with no change. He spent evenings gaming, barely engaging with me or the kids. I kept the house running, cooking, helping with homework, tucking the kids in, but the tension was suffocating. I tried talking to Mark again, waiting until the kids were asleep. I said, "I'm sorry. Can we work this out?" He said, "I need time," and shut his office door. I apologized repeatedly, but he ignored me, only speaking about logistics like bills or schedules. The kids grew quieter, sensing the rift. Our daughter asked, "Is Daddy okay?" I lied, saying, "He's just tired," but her eyes told me she knew better. Update. 4 months later. 4 months later, in October, our marriage fell apart. Mark never accepted my apologies, insisting his Mother's Day gift was different from my Father's Day plan. He refused to see the parallel, dismissing my feelings. We argued again, rehashing the same points, but he wouldn't budge. I realized we were stuck, unable to move forward. We filed for divorce. Mark moved out, renting a small apartment nearby. The kids stayed with me during the week, spending weekends with him. The house felt emptier, but the tension lifted. I focused on the kids, keeping their routine stable: school, soccer, bedtime stories. I started therapy, unpacking the hurt and guilt. The kids adjusted, though they missed us as a unit. Online, Corfi74 asked, "Did he ever see the Mother's Day parallel, or stay obtuse?" I replied, "He hasn't. He still says what he did was different." Leoka wrote, "I hope you find someone with empathy, not needing an eye for an eye." I responded, "I just want someone who gets why I was upset." One_welcome_5046 said, "Don't apologize. He never made up Mother's Day. Throw the husband away." I replied, "He never apologized for Mother's Day. Divorce is the plan." The comments validated my decision. Mark's refusal to acknowledge my feelings showed a deeper issue: lack of empathy. I grieved our marriage, but felt relief in moving forward. Update. 7 months later. 7 months after my post. On the next Mother's Day, life was better. Single, I woke to my kids climbing into bed, giggling. We made pancakes, syrup dripping everywhere, and laughed through the mess. They gave me handmade cards from school, their drawings wobbly but heartfelt. We spent the day on the couch, watching animated movies and eating pizza we ordered. No cleaning, no fighting, no forced outings, just joy. Unlike past Mother's Days, there was no subpar breakfast to clean up, no exhausting gift I didn't want, no cooking dinner alone. The stress I'd come to expect was gone. The kids and I created new traditions, and I felt lighter, more myself.